Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Hopefully, everyone brought their coffee or drink of choice. Wonderful. So welcome to PAGAP's first coffee chat of the year. We're really just here to check in with everybody, see how you're doing, and then perhaps learn something new from a fellow colleague. We wanted to talk a little bit about the graduate recruitment season, marketing, and things like that as we enter the new season. And I did just have a couple of brief announcements before we got started. First of all, my name is Angelo Lambrosino, and I'm the membership chair for PAGAP, and I work at Lehigh University as the graduate recruitment manager. A few announcements. NAGAP presentation proposals are going to be due on September 15th. So if you're thinking about submitting, please put that through, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask one of us. PAGAP is happy to announce a fall meeting, which is going to be right after the Drexel Graduate School Fair on October 17th. It's going to be really fun. Come through, get some food, drinks, and have fun with us in QS, who's going to be sponsoring the event. We have our NAGAP Summit, which we have every year in April, and that's going to be April 23rd to 26th. And then we have a save the date for a new summer conference, which is going to be bigger and better than previous years. That's going to be held June 4th to 5th or somewhere around that week. So to get started, I figured we'd all just go around since we have a smaller group today, introduce ourselves. And you could just say maybe your name, what school you're from, and then maybe if you have a go-to drink of choice or whatever brings you peace during the recruitment season. So I'll go first. Again, I'm Angelo. I'm from Lehigh University. My drink of choice right now is a triple espresso, straight up. And what brings me peace is just blasting my speakers when I'm working from home, playing some good music. So let's start with Betsy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Betsy McLean from Newman University. I serve as the PAGAP chapter president. And my drink of choice right now, unfortunately, is just water with extra lemon because I am having a baby in January. But if I wasn't having a baby, it would be a strawberry margarita with sugar on the rim all day. Just kidding. I don't have a problem. I will popcorn it over to Chad.
Thanks, Betsy. Chad Baker. I am the director of graduate recruitment and enrollment at Millersville University. I'm also the PAGAP marketing and communications chair. And actually, my drink of choice and my kind of salvation during recruiting season is a mojito. They all kind of go together. And I'm with Betsy. I'll do it all day, and I'll admit I have a problem. I don't care. Let's see, and I'll send it over to Latoya.
Good morning, everybody. Latoya Walters, the Associate Director for Graduate and Professional School Recruitment over at the University of Pittsburgh. Good morning. So I don't have a drink of choice right now, but I've had a new motto at the moment for this season is instead of me stressing, because I've had 2 cries already this fall, um, instead of me stressing, I've just on Friday been like, I'm letting it go. So on Fridays, I let it go. I don't touch the computer anymore for the weekend, and I deal with it all over again on Monday. So I've had this new motto right now of just, I can only control so much, and I give it until about Friday at about 6, 7 o'clock, and we're done. And we will deal with it again on Monday. So that's my motto at the moment.
Does the cold bother you anyway?
Does what?
Does the cold bother you?
The cold? No. I actually love the cold. It actually helps me sleep. So like I've been doing more sleeping on the
I was gonna
weekends.
say Frozen reference there for anyone
Yeah.
who missed that. The cold doesn't bother you anyway.
No.
Let it go.
Yes, let it go. I love it, Angelo. I'm gonna pop it over to Stephanie.
Hi, guys. I apologize for my voice. I'm already in recruitment season illness. But I'm Stephanie from the University of Pittsburgh, our Director of Graduate Recruitment and Enrollment Marketing for the School of Engineering. I'm also the new PAGAP Treasurer, and I'm going to go with what gives me peace is this little guy. So I thought he'd make an appearance. This is Charlie. He's my peacemaker.
Adorable.
I'm going to pop it over to Madeline, only because I saw you first.
Hi, everyone. I am the senior graduate recruiter at Loyola University, Maryland. This is our first time joining one of these chats, so we're very excited to connect more and learn a lot. Our recruitment team is pretty new. We both started together in January, so we attended the conference this summer at Goucher, and then we got this invite and we were like, yay, let's collaborate and meet some new people. My drink of choice is also water right now, Betsy, because I'm also due in January.
Are you having a boy or a girl, or do you
A
know?
boy.
Me too.
Oh my gosh,
Yay.
yay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you too. I'm gonna pop it to my colleague Kelly.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kelly Williford. I'm the graduate recruiter at Loyola University, Maryland, and Maddie is partner in crime. What gives me peace is having her as my partner in crime because it's so essential to be able to whine and complain or bounce ideas off of, because we work in the School of Education. And so we really work with a lot of teachers, and Maddie is a teacher. So that's the realm she comes from. So I rely on her expertise in that a lot. But we're excited to be able to collaborate with you all. My drink of choice, I have a couple. So I just like a good cup of coffee in the morning, and I'm not going to complain if somebody has a dirty martini with me at night. And I will send it to Stanley.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Stan Kania. I serve as the Assistant Dean of Admissions and Enrollment and an Assistant Professor in the Department of Family, Community, and Preventative Medicine at Drexel University College of Medicine. I also have the pleasure of serving as the Treasurer of NAGAP. I've been a longtime member of PAGAP, and I'm happy to join here this morning. My coffee of choice, or my drink of choice is coffee, as you can tell. I need coffee to get my words right. And it especially is helpful with a 2-year-old running around the house. So coffee it is all day, every day. I will popcorn it over to Nikki.
Good morning. Sorry I was late. A student jumped in at the last minute. Nikki Popolarchuk from Penn West, California campus, Secretary of PAGAP. What else are we supposed to be saying? Favorite drink? Depends on the time of day. I love a good mimosa, champagne only, red wine, and coffee when I'm at work. Maybe it's coffee. I'm not sure. Not sure who else didn't go yet, but please feel free, whoever, jump on.
I can go. Hi, everyone. I'm Mandy Alford. I am Angelo's colleague at Lehigh, and I recruit for the College of Arts and Sciences. My drink of choice is always black coffee, and lots of it. I probably drink 5 times more than I should every day, but who's counting? And what brings me pleasure, not just during recruitment season, but every day, is my little Jolene, my little dog who greets me when I get home every day. So yeah, thanks. Let's see. I don't know. How about Kelly? Have you gone yet?
I have not. Hello, everybody. I'm Kelly Byrd. I am the Director for Graduate Enrollment at Alvernia University. My drink of choice right now is Tito's with a splash of cranberry and club. And what brings me joy is right now playing pickleball in the evenings and early mornings in the crisp air. I'm gonna toss it to Sue Ann.
Thanks, Kelly. Hi, everyone. My name is Sue Ann Robbins. I am the Director of Graduate Admission at York College. Also take care of our transfer admissions and readmit and non-matric. I have a lot of the smaller populations, but they tend to take up a lot of our time sometimes. My drink of choice is always coffee in the morning, but if you want to visit Marietta, lovely Marietta, Pennsylvania, not Marietta, Georgia, after work, my husband makes a great orange crush. I'm supposed to toss it to somebody but I did come in a little late. So I'm not sure who has not gone. Raise your hand.
I can go next.
Okay.
Yeah, because once again, I lost track of like who went, who didn't go. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be the last one. So my name is Daniel Perez, and I am the Associate Director of Graduate and Adult Enrollment here at LaSalle University. So once again, everyone, hi to everyone. I'm new to the group. My drink of choice, I truly don't have any. It all depends on the mood. I can go from coffee to a margarita to a mojito to Celsius, whatever you call it. It all depends on the time of the day. My joy will be I think my 5 kids at home. Yep, 5. I know. There's truly not a downtime. I think my downtime comes from like 11:45 p.m. to 12:15 a.m. when I can actually watch 30 minutes of Netflix. Yep, that's about it. So, but I'm so glad to be part of this group. I actually know some of you. So yeah, here we go. Oh, I'll pass it over to whoever is next.
I can go next. Hi, everybody. My name is Xue Yan. I'm the Director of Recruitment here at College of Computing and Informatics at Drexel University. I'm a tea person, so I usually start my day with tea, but today I'm getting in the office a little bit late because of traffic, because of the debate and everything in Philadelphia. So I'm drinking water right now, but I can drink tea all day, every day. That's definitely my choice of beverage. And what brings me peace, definitely coming home to my family, to my cat. I'm in the office right now, but I'm missing him already. Let's see. I don't know who has gone, who hasn't gone.
I can go
Valerie?
next.
Go, there you go. Okay.
I'll introduce Valerie. Hi, I'm Judy Wilson. I'm the Director of Graduate and Online Admissions at Geneva College. And this summer, I lost my whole team to other great job opportunities. And so I have a whole new team, and Valerie is my new graduate and online specialist. It was a great opportunity for us to restructure. So instead of having separate counselors for graduate and our adult degree completion, we combined positions to cover both areas. And one position is our external counselor, and that's Ty Pagadawan. So some of you will see him out on the road in the coming weeks. And then Valerie is my specialist, and what she does is a lot of our operations here on campus. And she was a school teacher for, let's see if I'm getting it wrong, 14 years. Ty actually is a Geneva grad and has his master's in higher education from Geneva as well. And they are the things that bring me joy right now after having to cover 3 jobs this summer for a couple months at a time. So I will pass it along to Danae.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Danae Williams. I'm the Director of Recruitment and Admissions at the University of Pittsburgh Graduate School of Public and International Affairs. That is a mouthful. You say it all together. Drink of choice, it really depends on the time of day. I like doing this thing in the morning called Cafe Danae, where I make lattes using a Keurig and like the little milk frother thingy. And so this morning, my drink of choice is a caramel macchiato. And I switch it up every now and then. And then in the afternoon, I'm like a tea person. And then in the evening, I enjoy myself, a sweet wine or like a sweeter, like a dry, semi-dry wine. So think a Chardonnay. So not too dry of a Chardonnay, but like right in that middle part. That's what I enjoy. And then things that bring me, is it peace or joy? I miss the intro and I hear people switching it up. But I have 2 girls, and when they're happy and healthy and smiling and laughing, that just fills me with so much joy. And then when they're not, you can see the bags under my eyes. So nice to see everyone again and meet some new faces.
Did we get everyone?
I didn't go
Mara.
yet. My name's Mara Goloviowski. I am Assistant Director of Admissions at Salus, and our exciting news is that we're merging with Drexel University. So we're Salus at Drexel University. And let's see, favorite drink of choice. I had recently a very good white wine. It was a South African white wine, and I was just Googling the name. It was called Prevailing Winds. It was very good. And what brings me peace during recruitment time is watching reality TV. Survivor is starting up soon, so I'm excited for that.
I like prevailing winds. That could be used maybe for our summer conference team or something like that. That's a cool name. Anyone else?
Hi, everyone. I'm Peg McGarry from Penn West University. So I work with Nikki Popolarchek, and I've been in grad admissions for 11 years. I also recruit for undergrad. So my drink of choice is the highest test coffee in the morning, black. And in the evening, the Prosecco queen. So any Prosecco and put anything in it, it's a great base. So nice to meet everyone. This is my first PA Gap coffee chat. So glad to be here.
Great. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for sharing. It's great to have everyone here, both folks we know and our new friends. I figured I'd just start things off with a topic of interest. Just wanted to get your feedback. Have you felt that maybe in-person, virtual, or hybrid events have been effective? Why or why not? Just getting some feelers out there to get us started.
Can I just say, I really haven't seen very many virtual events. I don't know about anybody else on that, but like I've seen more of the in-person coming back than the virtual ones. And don't get me wrong, when the virtual ones were here, I didn't have too much success. But I will say, like this year, I haven't really seen too many virtual, but definitely please tell us if you see any, if anybody else has.
We're still hosting virtual events just as information sessions for our own programs. And we're seeing pretty good turnout for those. We just promote them to, prospective students in our database and on social media. And we've been happy with that kind of turnout, but I'm with you, LaToya. I haven't seen any other virtual events out there, but they're always sort of mixed, I think. When I've participated in them, they haven't always been great, but you never know.
Yeah, at Newman, we're still doing a mix of virtual and on-campus information sessions and different, like student panels and things like that. And I had to shift my mindset of what success looks like, because the virtual events, although they're like not the best attended, a handful of students for us, since we're a small private school, is like pretty good. And they're like minimal work, right? It's like less than 30 minutes of a counselor on a webinar. We don't really include the faculty as much, except for some of the bigger programs. And I think that's been successful. The in-person info sessions, complete shift since like before COVID, right? And that's been hard for me to understand and be okay with, where we used to have like, 70 plus students come to an info session in person. Now we're down to like maybe 30. But like that's still a success because we're still getting apps from those type of information sessions. I think the hard part is like involving the faculty and making sure that they don't get like discouraged. Like right now, there's an ongoing discussion, and I would love to get your all's feedback of orientation. So my office handles orientation for new grad and degree completion students, and 95% of our programs are online. So for the spring and summer start terms, we do virtual orientation videos. And then for the fall, which is typically our largest class, we still do the virtual videos that gets emailed to everyone, but we host an in-person orientation where there's, a lot of like student services, and we'll do like a Philly cheesesteak theme meal and, like swag and stuff. And it's a successful event, but some faculty are like, hey, my program's fully online. I just want to do a fully online orientation. But the battle is these students are having fun coming to campus, probably the only time they come to campus throughout their program. So just any experience on your guys' end on online versus in-person orientations, even if it's an online program?
So to just jump off of what you said, Betsy, so the first part about the virtual versus, in-person grad fairs, I think that, I mean, I personally have seen a lot of them being mixed still. In terms of putting on an event and even attending event, a lot of us will continue, I think, to do the virtual stuff just because of cost savings and ease and convenience. Although I have heard that a lot of students still really value that face-to-face interaction with a counselor or with a representative, which I think is a great segue into the second question you asked. So when I was at Temple before I came to Drexel, we had an orientation in the fall for all of our new grad students, and it included both in-person and online students. And what we did, we kind of had the same battle that you're talking about with faculty, because we had a number of programs that were still completely online. So instead, what we did, knowing that some of those students would still come because they want to still feel like they are part of the campus community and still get to put a face with the name of the professors, we held a session that was just called, I forget what we titled. It was either, meet your professor or drinks with professors. And it was just like coffee, tea, desserts. It was kind of like a little social mingle event for the students to all get to meet the different faculty. And they really appreciated that. They really liked that. It was something that didn't cost a lot of money to put on, and the students really liked it. The faculty liked it because we gave them food and caffeine. So that's maybe something you could look at just as an idea.
Betsy, I was going to follow that up. I apologize for my voice, everybody, but we actually went through something similar when we were trying to centralize our orientation, where some programs wanted it to be fully online and some didn't. So we ended up surveying that year's class about what they would sort of miss in orientation if it went away. Like we used to do a big social event, things like that. So we had direct feedback sort of from the horse's mouth to go back to faculty and say, listen, our students want this to be in person and they want a more centralized version. So maybe something consider like surveying your class that just entered a series of questions like, would you have missed this being in person? Is there something you wish you would have seen? I can share the survey with you, but we have one that we did. In terms of conferences, I'm also seeing like a downtick in definitely the virtual side. There are certain conferences like Tau Beta Pi hanging on to a hybrid version, but most are going more in the in-person. But I have noticed like pockets of states staying virtual. So like all of my North Carolina events are pretty much online. And I've also noticed where I was able to maybe get in person with universities before, now they're sort of asking those programs to run virtually. So it's going to be interesting to see, that'll minimize my travel, thankfully, but I'll be interested to see about attendance.
I'd like to pivot a little bit into that more. So are you guys setting up individual visits with schools and or companies on top of your regular recruitment? Do you see more or less of that happening in the future in the mix with your regular recruitment activities?
I'll go first because I do a lot of this if you want me to. So one of the biggest challenges I'm having right now, especially in the Pittsburgh area schools, I've never had schools sort of push back before on having a competitor on campus, but now that's the type of emails I'm getting. And I'm very targeted in who I reach out to. Like we really focus on, for engineering, the schools that have master's programs, but no PhDs in engineering, so that I'm not sort of like pulling from their own pool. But we've had a lot of pushback this year about going to those campuses.
I feel like I'm the complete polar opposite of Stephanie because I'm in such a niche market, specifically in medical education. That's predominantly a majority of the travel that we do are those individualized visits with colleges and universities and pre-health organizations, pre-health students, pre-health clubs. Because medical school's so competitive, they really appreciate having a representative from an admissions team come and speak about a program in the admissions process. So, I mean, while we do grad fairs, I think that for us, specifically in medical education, a majority of our travel are those individual visits with schools, whether they be in person or virtual.
I can back up what Stephanie's saying because we have a school between the two of us that has continually said, hey, you're not allowed to come to, to their fair. But what I've appreciated, especially here on the western side of the state, is a lot of us have been open to having competitors at our schools, partly because some of us have niche programs. And yes, we all have an MBA, we all have a counseling program, but not everybody has cybersecurity. Not everybody has higher education. Stephanie, I need to get your contact information because you need to be at our engineering fair in October. Because I don't have engineering, not yet. And probably won't for another 5 to 10 years. So message me after this, and I'll get you connected with our career center. I think the best thing too is having that good relationship with your career center so that there is open communication on, yes, we do want competitors to come. So one, our students have options. They can't always afford to do grad school with us, and they may not be able to stay here and do it, or they don't want to do it online, or they have to be licensed. They have to be licensed in another state, that type of thing. So, yeah, it's one of those things where, yeah. The other thing we're doing too is we built a bunch of tuition discount partnerships with companies in the area. We got a renewal with UPMC, got a renewal with Sheets, and continuing to talk to their HR education benefits people on how we can be good partners with them and get their folks into school, especially our adult degree completion program. So that's what we're doing.
Maddie and I have something a little unique in that where we're at Loyola University, Maryland, is that we have an Office of Graduate Admissions team that goes out and does all of the grad fairs and works on the broader spectrum. Because we work with the School of Education, we're really focused on working with teachers. And so that lends its own little niche challenge in trying to get in front of them, because we've found that they aren't as active online. I think for me, I was surprised by how much more I thought they would be. And so really what we've done and shifted in our focus, and we're trying for this fall recruitment, which is really for spring, is just trying to visit campuses, which is a lot of groundwork for her and I to do, to literally just go to different campuses. But we're just trying to get our foot in the door and find ways of meeting teachers, because we found going to the conferences that they offer has not really been very fruitful. So if any of you have any challenges with that, love to hear your ideas on how to get in front of teachers, because it's been a bit of a challenge.
I work with the education population as well. It's a big group of my graduate population. And I've noticed it was about a year and a half ago when all of the grant money came down that institutions could apply for. Working with the local IUs has been very beneficial as we partnered with them and funneled all of the information through. We have several IUs that a bulk of our applications are coming through with partnerships.
Thank you for that.
So shifting into being at events in person, I wanted to get everyone's thoughts on individual table setups, talking about tablecloths, talking about pull-up banners, banners that might go behind your table, this kind of swag that's on your table. What are you guys doing currently? What are you thinking about doing or changing? Should we change it up or just keep it as is?
I know for us, it seems as soon as we print anything, it changes. So we have gotten into the habit of, we do a lot of virtual, so we do the QR code. We really don't have a lot of stuff at the table anymore. Students are smarter. They're coming with their questions already because they've done their research. Swag's always fun, so can't go wrong with a pen. But yeah, we're really downsizing what we bring, just using that QR code and sending them the info before they even walk away from the table.
And along the lines of QR codes, I was wondering if anyone's utilizing any kind of like tracking with that QR code that would go into a CRM. I know that's something that we were thinking about at Lehigh recently, that we were not doing that in the past, and now we'll be doing that moving forward.
Yeah, we are able to do that with Slate. So we get a QR code on a certain RFI. So when it comes through, we know where we met them.
Same thing with Salesforce, you know, the wonderful Salesforce. Yes, definitely using QR codes to try and capture and then track, and then also tracking, like even with sending out emails and stuff, like how many clicks are we getting on certain emails, how many people are opening up our links that are on the emails to kind of see if we're kind of really pushing that traffic to where we want them to go.
Yeah, and then as far as event yield, I know we're always asked the question, you know, how did that event go? Is it worth going to again? And sometimes that's difficult to quantify based on just a feeling of, oh, it was okay, or, you know, oh, I thought it was great. So then why did you only bring back 3 inquiries? So what are your guys' thoughts on, I guess, sharing that information with supervisors, and how do you share a successful event? What makes an event successful?
I can chime in. I think that kind of goes back to what Betsy was saying earlier about defining success and what it looks like and being clear of what that success is for your school and that type of event. Because I worked in undergrad admissions, so beforehand. And so like the amount of inquiries you get in an event there compared to a grad school for public and international affairs. So for me, if I see like 5 genuinely interested students and they sign up at an event, for me, that's a win. Whereas 5 students may not be a win if you're a larger school. So that's one thing. But there's like 3 things I look for. One, partnership engagement. Was I able to physically go somewhere, meet people, and get new contacts in front of the school that influence students? I think that's like the most important out of all, because sometimes students don't come to the table, and a lot of times students don't come to these events. So it's important to make that connection. And if I have, I consider that successful if there's someone that wants to engage with me. Of course, obviously, inquiries, the 5. And then also just general student engagement or campus engagement. Like, was I able to take that event and pair other things with it along the way? Was I able to do tabling? Was I able to do a classroom visit when I came out there? Were we able to make it a thing, or did we just spend 8 hours traveling somewhere? I went to a fair, seen like 2 people that were barely interested, and is not worthwhile and worth the time and effort. So I would say those are the 3 things I look for to determine success of an event. And if I got 0 students, but I met with like 3, 4 really invested faculty members and made that connection, I would consider that a success, and I would try to go back just so that I can maintain and foster those relationships.
To go off of that, what Danae just said, so I was at a fair at a school in Ohio in the spring. No students showed up, and it was right outside their dining hall during dinner time. They just walked through us. Didn't stop, but I made good connections with other companies that were there, with other schools. And I brought one Christian high school in the area back to our undergrad students, and now they're in conversations with them on an agreement with their students. So that's a success in the big picture. Oh yeah, expensive. Come on. When I think, I have a cybersecurity program director who keeps wanting me to go to this one event down in Huntsville, Alabama at the end of August. I'm like, Dr. Richards, that is my whole recruiting budget right there just for that one event. So yeah, anytime it's getting above like $250 for grad schools to be an event, or you're a nonprofit, it's like, okay, I'm going to spend that much to go to the other side of the state to recruit at your schools in the Philly area. So I need to always balance out, what the cost just to travel is, along with the cost of the event. So yeah. Oh yeah, that carpet under the feet. Let me tell you, it still doesn't help.
Well, that's because you need the premium carpet. That's another $1,000.
One other thing I just wanted to add to what Judy and Danae both said too is like basically what they were talking about is I'm not too big about like the numbers, but it does make a difference if you actually advertise the event well. So there's a difference between, hey, I may not have got so many students at this event, but it actually was very well advertised and sent to students. I've kind of tried to gear away from the ones who've like, I put together this event, but we didn't advertise it because there's literally no students that showed up, period. Like not just interested in me, but like that just showed up. So that's another criteria that I'll take into account too, because if I am putting all this money into it, I want to make sure that that part of the effort was put into it as well.
Is anyone like advertising to their funnel for students that they have from those schools before they go? Yeah. So that
When
sometimes can
capacity
be a pain to
permits.
do, but it makes
Yeah.
a difference, I think.
Oh yeah, huge difference. I can't tell you how many events I've gone to most recently that were like, hey, I got your email and blah, blah, blah. Now I'm interested, right? Like weren't even thinking about you before, but since I got this email, now I've kind of considered it. But like Danae said, only when offered, right? Because not every event offers you those contents or those contacts before you go. But those ones who do, yeah, definitely.
Angelo, I just wanted to add maybe one thing that could help the group that's been working really well for me thus far. Now we're lucky in engineering, we have the engine list. If you're not a part of that, it's a national database that students sort of sign up for in engineering that are interested in grad schools. So we automatically have sort of this huge list that we can pull from. But I also use my leads from years past. Over this summer, I had our faculty fill out like a really quick faculty profile. Where was their alma maters, both for grad and undergrad? What would they recommend to incoming students if they were, back when they were in grad school, and just a couple other little like quote items. And then what I do is for like big national events, I send those sort of faculty spotlights to that group of students. So let's say, I graduated from Drexel. I'm going to filter to all the Drexel students. I'm going to send that faculty spotlight out and say, come check us out at the table and learn more. So that seems to be doing a lot better because the students will then come up and say, oh, I saw the faculty profile on Dr. Knight. Is she here? Like, I'd love to talk more with her. And it gives me the opportunity to connect them with students.
That's a great idea, Stephanie. I love that.
Guess we could pivot into digital marketing now. Any new trends emerging? Is anyone using AI? I know that's a hot topic right now. Chatbots on websites and all the likes, Chat GPT, et cetera, et cetera. So, is anyone new to this world? Could use some advice from the group. Or what are you guys currently using right now?
I'll say one thing. I feel like there's been a lot of conference talk, at NAGAP, at any of the conferences we've been to. There's actually a conference in Pittsburgh right now about digital marketing. I feel like everyone's sort of scared to admit they're using AI or Chat GPT, and I'm not. I will tell you, I do all of our marketing collateral, and the very first thing I do after I write it is pop it into Chat GPT and be like, make this better. And I'm not saying I steal everything from it, but it definitely like helps consolidate my ideas and makes it so much more streamlined. And I feel like everyone's so scared to admit that. Even things as simple as I've been able to train my Chat GPT on how to respond to prospective student emails. So I can literally copy some of my emails at this point into Chat GPT, and it knows exactly what I would say back to it because it's sort of learned my language. It really has helped me sort of minimize my like time and day to day. So I'm totally pro Chat GPT. I actually just gave a presentation about this for an engineering organization about how to use it to help you in your application, but not be your application. So if anyone wants to see those slides, I have my own sort of version of presentation for that too.
And to jump on top of what Stephanie just said, for those of you that maybe not that familiar with using ChatGPT or maybe a little bit leery of using it, or if you're someone who's looking at maybe changing up some of your marketing strategy or digital marketing strategy, or even like social media post generation, things of that nature, you could use ChatGPT to help you generate those ideas. So for example, you could pop in there and say, create me a social media marketing strategy for this program and list your college. And it'll spit out some ideas on how to engage with your intended target audience via social media posts, what kind of posts to make, when to make them. Same thing with email marketing communications, campaigns, things of that nature. So it's a great way to kind of test them, test the water, so to speak, to help you generate some new ideas. If you're looking at changing up some of your content or a new strategy, ChatGPT, I think, is actually really neat in helping you create some of those ideas. And then you could tell it, make me a budget for this. You can then have an idea of, okay, what would this kind of look like? Go and actually do price matching and take a look at what's out there, and then go to your supervisors, or if you are a decision maker, try to fight and say, okay, here's what we could do. Here's how we could change things up. Here's how we could use our budget money more strategically to increase our funnel, increase, our yield, et cetera, et cetera. So ChatGPT is a great way as an AI tool to help you generate some really neat ideas.
Is anyone currently using Unibuddy? That's something we recently adopted, and we're going to launch that soon. How's that
Angela,
been?
you literally took the thought out of my brain. I was going to ask the same because we're about to sign our contract.
So for those who don't know about Unibuddy, it's a peer-to-peer chat platform. So we have student ambassadors currently for each of our departments at Lehigh, and all the colleges have adopted the platform as well at Lehigh. So it makes it a little bit easier to get in touch with prospective students from our ambassadors' perspective. Previously, we had only had Calendly appointments set up, and so those were happening, but not as frequently as we would have liked. So we adopted this platform, and we're hoping that it's going to go really well. We're launching it for us at least on September 15th. So yeah, we'd just like to get some feedback if anyone else is using that, positive or negative. And if not, how are you guys, does anyone have an ambassador program? And how are you utilizing current students in prospective student communications?
I mean,
Or
Angela,
alumni?
I'll just say what right now what we're doing if it's helpful to anyone. Currently, I have a like a group chat with the grad students that are reps from each sort of program that I recruit with. So I lean on them in that way when I need to sort of connect a student. But that's why I'm excited about Unibuddy, because it sort of does all that for us. And not to do a Unibuddy sales pitch, but the thing that really sold me is you can create the templates for students to sort of get responses going so that you're not worried about what they're saying, because that was a big issue I sort of ran into from the legal side. Was not only are we compensating the students, which was a whole other legal parameter, but then once you are, how are you ensuring that what they're sending out is brand appropriate? So Unibuddy sort of like takes away a lot of those concerns. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm hoping Unibuddy will be our solution later.
I was just writing in the chat. I'm like curious as to hear about people's Unibuddy experience on the grad side, because when I seen a lot of their materials, it seemed very undergrad focused. And so that's why I was curious as to like, how do grad students utilize this? Right now, we do utilize our current students. We have 2 student workers, a first year and a second year. And one of the student workers' responsibilities is curating a list of students who are just interested in volunteering to talk to prospective students and share their GISPIA unique experiences, not do like administrative stuff for us. That's what the student workers do. And a lot of students are really excited to share their experiences. And so when a prospective student reaches out to us and they want to engage more with a current student, we'll get them with our student worker. They can set up a tour, and then the student worker will like bring them to meet their friends and then make sure that one of the friends is the person who is interested in their major. And since, again, we're a smaller school, so we're able to be a little bit more hands-on with that. But I can see something like Unibuddy, helping out a school that's massive. And when I say small school, we're like about 250 students all total for our programs. So even though Pitt's large, GISPIA is small.
PAGAP team, I think we found our next sponsor.
What about chatbots? Is everyone using chatbots or new to chatbots? We just got Gecko, and so far it's been great for us. We're still training it constantly, but it does a pretty good job most of the time, I would say. I don't know if you had a similar experience, Mandy, with your side of things. You're using Gecko, right?
On College of Arts and Sciences.
Yeah.
We haven't started yet because we're launching a new website.
Right.
any day now, or like 7 weeks ago when it was supposed to launch. But so we are holding off until that website launches.
Yeah, one of the things about the chatbot is it will also eat up all the incorrect information. So let's say in our case, like we have departments that don't update their websites as much as we would like them to. So that could cause some trouble. And but it does allow you to kind of train to the specific questions that you get. So I've been doing that a lot frequently. Usually on Mondays, I take care of that big list. Any other best practices for chatbot use? Another idea I wanted to float out there was we were thinking of potentially considering a PAGAP college fair, grad fair, as an idea for the future. Would that be something that you guys would be interested in, useful, location-wise? All the above? I'm seeing a lot of yeses and thumbs up.
All the above, and maybe even
Yeah.
one that's on the eastern side of the state and one that's on the western side of the state. And try to navigate around some of our regular dates. Yes, today. All the fairs that we're going to, you know, some of us know that, you know, Grove Cities is always the last Wednesday of September. The West PAX career fair is now in the fall instead of the spring this year, and that's going to be in October. There are just some big ones, like I know on the, and Danae and Latoya and Stephanie and others on the western side of the state, we can, you know, come up with the list. And then I'm still navigating all those standard ones on the eastern side of the state, because I'm sending, now that I have another counselor, I'm sending him over to y'all a lot this next couple weeks. So yes, I like that idea. I know, I think we tried to do something with IUP last year, and it was a funky time. So do we have a list of all of our fairs just in PA that we can kind of look at dates?
We do have the NAGAP listing. I might be able to put together at least my schedule and some other fairs that are out there. That's something to consider, maybe a PAGAP specific NAGAP listing.
And ours isn't specifically grad school. Ours is career fair. So that's something to consider as well.
I like that listing idea, Angelo, of like having like NAGAP has that centralized events, but like what's happening in PA specifically to offer to PAGAP. I like that idea big time. Sorry to throw that in, but I really think that's a good idea.
Latoya, why do I feel like you and I are about to get a job handed to us?
Well, Chad, I'm so sorry every time. But so Chad just put the PAGAP email in the chat. So if you all want to send like your schedules of fairs or career fairs, somebody on the exec board can put that together and we will put it on the PAGAP website. And once we have that launched, we'll send an email to everyone if that sounds good. But it's a great idea.
And for others too, since a lot of people aren't on here, I'm going to try and list out the ones that I know we're going to of folks that aren't here.
Excellent. So we have about 10 minutes left. I would like to use this time to see if anyone else has any other topics that they were interested in talking about.
I have a question for those who have counseling programs and the new legislation that went into effect on July 1 about the state meets list. Have you all felt like you've done a good job with having those lists available? Maybe it's just we're still new in the whole centralized recruiting piece, but we were a little behind, but just trying to make sure that you have the right states meets list. Has anybody else had to deal with that this summer? Nope. Okay.
Well, wait, I just wanted to clarify. Are you talking about the rule where we have to state where like licensures and stuff like that are eligible? Okay, that part.
Yeah.
Danae and Stephanie, actually, I'm actually curious how it did this. I heard about this in a central meeting, and I'm not sure if it even fully made it to the schools, which is kind of concerning. But Stephanie, Danae, do you even know what we're talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but my stance in a university like Pitt is until legal tells me what to do, I am doing nothing.
Well, and that's the thing. It actually, the initial announcement I heard from was from legal. So that's why I'm curious if it actually made it. That is one of the things about a big school is like, I feel like a lot of times, like I'll hear things sometimes, but I'm not sure if it made it where it's supposed to yet. Danae, did you?
I heard about it through legal. However, our school doesn't have any licensure programs.
Okay.
Because it's like
Okay.
an MPA, you know, that type of thing. So, but I'm
Yeah.
sure School of Ed, SHRS,
Okay.
you know, all of those schools are gonna, yeah, they're
Yeah.
probably gonna need to be on top of that nursing. So I would check with Panetti and Nicole Skelly.
Yeah. 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 If you need any contacts like to see what they're doing, Judy, we could definitely help you with that. But I did hear about it, but it hasn't affected me personally. But like I know like there's some of the schools that it did, but I'm also curious how that kind of went because I know the language that they originally had was basically putting it on the student that they had to figure out if their licensure was going to work in different states. But now, of course, with the new ruling, it's now in the school. So I am curious to also know like what happened. So yeah, let me know if you want to connect with any of them.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna drop an article in here that talked about the new regulations. Because for us right now, it just affects our counseling program, but I'm sure a lot of you have licensure programs for engineering and even certification, things like that. And you know, I did a lot of the research and then walked it through with our counseling faculty. And then my compliance people on campus said, oh, no, wait, you have to now do it just separate for this concentration. And I'm like, okay. So it's consumed a lot of time, but then there's also, sorry, I have a whole bookmark folder of all the ways to find all the licensing requirements for different states. Sorry, there's an organization that the chair of our department has been a part of the national board, and I can't remember the acronyms like AASCB. I know that's wrong, but he was told by their board that they're going to actually do the work for us and tell us whether our programs meet the state licensing, at least on the counseling side. But I'm like, y'all should have offered that back in March when we first started talking about this. So for those that have, you know, for us, like I said, it's only our counseling program and maybe some undergrad programs, but I'll try to keep up as much as possible for the group if you want more. But I dropped that article in there just to so everybody could see what the rules are.
Thank you, Judy. Does anyone else have any hot topics for discussion or questions?
I had a question for the group about at tabling in recruitment events using the QR codes and like an iPad to get students to fill it out versus using the sign up sheets and going, you know, not even historical, but you know, 10 years ago. And the reason why is with the QR codes, I like it for back end tracking and reporting, but there seems to be like sometimes students will pull it up on their phone. Sometimes they complete it. Maybe sometimes they don't. Or sometimes this happened where they thought they completed it, but it didn't. And sometimes students will come back to the table and like let you know. And then sometimes others won't. And so I was wondering if folks have any experiences with this and have reverted back to the sign up sheets or vice versa. And just wanted to hear experiences.
We've reverted more back to the sign up sheets because we've been noticing the same thing that they say they scan it, but they don't do it. So we have both at our tables. We'll have the QR code and the regular handwritten sign-in sheets. I like the handwritten sign-in sheets better. My only concern is when their handwriting is not legible and they write it and then you go back to input it and you can't read it. But I prefer the written.
I'm with you, Mara. We have both. So we have our inquiry card, but on the back of the inquiry card, that's where the QR code is as well. So if they want to take it with them, they can. But I hate when they do that because most of the time we're not getting that information. And so I like that old school, like fill out this inquiry card. Let me check that I have your name and email correct, and then go from there.
A lot of times on the inquiry card, to avoid the handwritten, not being able to, read that, I'll actually fill it out for them. I'll be like, oh, let me get that for you, and I'll get the information because I know I can at least read my own chicken scratch, and I'll be able to communicate back with them when I go to the office.
I actually changed from both. So I started having a form already for Salesforce for us, but I've already have a form set up on the iPad that I hand them the iPad to complete it on the iPad. So not the QR code, not the form, but literally having them fill it out right then and there. But I've used it also as a flow of traffic. So like being able to kind of talk to this first person, letting them know about the programs, blah, blah, blah. Okay, hey, so we can send you more information if you can just fill this out. Next person and why they're filling it out. Oh, I'm talking to the other person's filling it out, and swap kind of thing. So that's kind of the way that I kind of adjusted for both.
Yeah, Danae, I do exactly what Latoya does. I'll take it maybe a step further. My backup plan is now, granted, I go to a lot of national conferences as well, so students tend to have resumes. So also, if they have them, I'll grab a copy of their resume because truthfully, it helps me with faculty follow-up anyway, just having that level of detail. So that's sort of my backup plan. And I'll just jot in the corner, like, PhD chemical engineering, just so I know like who they are when I go to reference the lead form that they completed.
So you like the iPads? We don't have iPads yet. I've been using my like work computer to have people fill things out, which have worked, but that's also gets clunky. So that's why I was like, oh, okay, let's see what everybody's doing. So that's good to know. Thank you so much for sharing.
Any other final questions in our last 2 minutes?
Since some people came in a little bit late, Angela, can you repeat those dates for like the upcoming things that are coming? And I see Chad's been throwing some stuff in the chat too.
Sure. So NAGAP presentation proposals for our big summit in April are due on September 15th. You should have received an email about that call for proposals. And if anyone has questions about making a proposal, feel free to ask us because a lot of us have done that before. PAGAP is happy to announce the fall meeting, which is going to happen after the Drexel Fair on October 17th. And we'll send some information about that out as well. And then we have the actual NAGAP summit is in April this year, which is April 23rd to 26th in San Francisco, I think. And then save the date for summer conference, June 4th to 5th next summer. And that's going to be bigger and better than previous years, as always. Any other closing remarks, closing thoughts? Great. Well, I thank everyone for being here today and spending some time with us, making some new friends, and hope to see you soon. Have a great season, everyone.
Thanks, Angelo.